With the COVID-19 pandemic, the world is warning us today that if we fail to build alternatives to the current system managed by extractive capitalism, it will rob our descendants of their future. This historical moment that we are living through is serving to expose that extreme inequalities are not only found in the marginalized neighborhood of so-called third world countries, but also exist in the first world. So to speak of honoring activism, inclusion, social justice, human rights, and generating knowledge at the service of humanity requires rethinking how our institutions often leave out intellectuals who are committed to movement of social change. Sisters and brothers who don't have academic degrees, and many generators of thoughts and local action in our countries who give their lives to defend the survival of their people. The pandemic is showing us the mistake of humanity and of the academia. At this moment, it is not important how many Nobel Prizes have been awarded in science, but how little science has been put to the service of humanity. When science is driven by the interest of capital and not by collective interests, it ends up trivialized, isolating in classrooms, inviting to reception in palaces or war institutions, but far from the people it should really serve. It seems then that the power of the white man, along with his symbols, is being debunked. It is evident that the xenophobic patriotism and violent capitalism of these times, head up for business people, are not of much use. In this moment, the prophetic words of the great Chief Seattle are coming through. In 1854, he sent a letter to the President of the United States, warning that the white man who contaminate its bed would perish contaminated in its own waste, walking toward its self-destruction. Just as a Chief Seattle warned, today we are seeing the end of a self-destructive way of life, and we begin to go back to the dawn of the age of survival. Now from the epicenters of the disease, there are no heroes who can save those who have been placed on the bottom of the economic ladder. That is why the people who dying the most are Afro-descendant, Hispanic populations, and indigenous people that were removed from their territories and today survive neglected by the state. The millions of people throughout Latin America who wave white flags asking not to starve to death are nothing more than the materialization of the invisible who now appear in the media because they are emerging from the city slums or communities that they have relegated to. The white flags expose the structures of exclusion that in normal times are hidden by fraudulent labor policies or state charities, but are false palliatives because they keep entire sector on the margin of subsistence, because the economic system needs its workforce to increase the wealth of the world elite. And despite this, many of them belonging to these poor or middle-class sectors believe in this exploitative system. In deeply stratified countries, such as those in America, where the gap between opulence and poverty continues to widen, humanitarian crises like this one combined with other social explosions. I was born in one of these countries and grew up observing these extremes between those who had access to exclusive education centers compared to the majority who hardly finished elementary school, between those who were fed 3 times a day and those who ate what they could. between those who had private health care and those who had no health center to go to. In this permanent inequality, those on the side that receives the worst and the scraps from the system cannot be expected to survive, because they have not had the right to weave even a minimal safety net, especially since even the collective security of their communities had been undermined. The states in Latin America are deeply elitist, racist, and patriarchal political systems, sold to us as a democratic, but the crisis of democracy never ends, because the democratic system was created to waste our lives and keep us alienated and as far as away as possible from resistance. In the end, the small but powerful political and economic elite of the world know that a person's active life is short. So the challenge is to stay distracted, controlled, or divided during those years, because disease, addiction, or hopelessness will take care of the rest. Thank you.